Welcome to a new episode of Vaans World. It's a good one.
We had just finished camping on Orchid Island, having experienced all levels of beauty and frustration. And it was time to go to Green Island, a more foreigner-friendly island about half the size. The boat ride was relatively quick and uneventful. Just like with Orchid Island, we had big hopes for Green Island and we were excited to see how the two islands would compare. Right away, we noticed that there was more of everything made by humans and less of everything made by nature. The crowds were bigger, the 7-Eleven was brighter, and the restaurants on offering were more plenty. But it would take a much deeper exploration of this island to find its true appeal. So stay tuned and find out how this little spot in the ocean stacks up against its bigger neighbor. Welcome back to Vaans World.
Thank you. Just a... Well, we made it to Green Island. Ollie's just checking in right now to the hostel. We booked a hostel here because the campsites were filled because of the whole typhoon and everything. We couldn't switch. Anyway, it's a long story, but we couldn't get a campsite here. So instead we're at a hostel, which is nice because it's nice to sleep on a regular bed in the air conditioning for a while.
We got a scooter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For the whole time?
Yes.
Nice.
It's the same price than lanyu. Same cost. Yeah.
So what now?
She's gonna come out and show us the bike, and then we need to go to the one of the 2 ATMs out there to get cash. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so now we just have to choose our beds. Well, this is our scooter, way newer, super nice. Looks good. Came with the hostel.
I approve.
Yep, me too. At the time of making this video, there's only 2 ATMs on the entire island. This one right here, and one at a government building. 7-Eleven does not have an ATM, and neither of them accept foreign cards. So you need to come here with loads of cash, because you will not be able to get money. And everything is cash only, so think about that.
Including the hotel and everything. The hotels, nice hostels won't take card.
Yeah, everything is cash only. So come with just ass loads of cash.
The noise of traffic and crowds is nearly deafening after spending a few days in utter solitude. This would become the overarching theme between the two islands, noisy versus silent. Feeling like we deserved a full meal for the first time in days, we sat down at a lovely restaurant and talked about nothing important for a while. Afterwards, we just went back to our hostel to enjoy a nightcap. It was the first time in many days since we were dry.
Well, I can get used to this island. Pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not moving from here.
No. This is home for the night. As well it should be. My dogs are barking.
Oh.
And by that I mean my feet hurt, if you're not a Canadian.
We were just collecting our thoughts, planning things to do for the following day, and watching the various lives pass by the hostel. The air was cool enough and the breeze was just strong enough to keep us outside. Suddenly, the smell of rain filled the air, and not more than a minute later, the sky let down this warm tropical blanket of water, the kind with the big droplets that I can't explain. We were wet once again, but happy no less. It was time for bed.
again. Going for breakfast.
Yes.
Zao, San,
早餐.
whatever. Going for breakfast. And then we're gonna make a plan while we eat breakfast on what we should do. There's a few things that we're considering. We'll talk about those later. But they all sound pretty cool. Okay? Alright, so anyway.
Food time.
In you go, into your little home. Bye-bye.
That soothing patter of plump raindrops hitting the roof of our hostel came back to visit during the daylight hours. The thing is with this tropical island rain is that it doesn't really bother you. It's a freshwater bath that cascades all around, washing the salt off of everything, including yourself. The temperature is neither hot nor cold, and it generally doesn't last very long anyway. The ground is so used to this repeated soaking that puddles barely have the chance to accumulate. As the clouds dispersed, we noticed on the other end of the street what looked to be a breakfast place, so we went over there to investigate.
Ollie's telling me how good the breakfast looks using hand signals. What did you get for us?
I got us the best of the best. Strapping. And I have no idea how to translate any of this though.
That's okay.
Okay. Strapping with cheese and bacon. And then we got hash browns. And we also got eggs. Like, pouch eggs? Poached eggs.
Nice. All right.
All good things for the soul.
We're all disoriented because we woke up a little bit late and we slept in because we were just exhausted. Once we got into air conditioning for the first time in like 5 days in a soft bed that was dry, we just passed right out. And literally last night was the first time either of us were dry, either from water or sweat in days. So we just had such a nice night sitting in the hostel. And then this morning we get on the scooter and it's just instantly wet again. Just right back to being wet. So sick of being wet.
Extra spicy.
Oh, good. Nice.
We set off on our adventure for the day. The first stop was to find a cave and to try and not get it confused with the other cave that is nearby. This was not the entrance to the real cave we were seeking. It was an underground temple that likely would have been beautiful had it not been for the loud, aggressive crowds of people drinking beer, playing their Nintendos, and yelling at each other from opposite sides of the room. So we set off and looked for a different path. Luckily, we found a steep road that zigzagged down the mountain. The kind of zigzaggy path that looks like it will terminate at the mouth of a cave.
That lousy excuse of a cave you saw before was not the cave. This is the one that we saw on Google.
Yeah.
And it is much, much better and wild. There's nothing really here. I mean, of course there are Chinese people playing music.
Really loud.
Ruining the sound of the ocean, but it's to be expected, you know. Wouldn't want to listen to nature. If it was good music, that would be one thing. But it is just... God. All right, here's the cave. Check it out.
And somewhere.
I find coral so fascinating. Just like this sharp, crazy shit that grows out of the sea. Is coral the biggest living organism? Because it's all over the world.
I think bamboo is. 他想 He wants to help you.
Oh yeah. Nice.
哦，他会在 YouTube 里面。
Thank you.
Thank you. The Taiwanese people are so nice. Here you go.
Come to me. Guys, check this out. This is cool. Swim spot, the swim spot we were looking for. Pretty cool cave. This would be really cool at nighttime with the stars. But look at the color of the sky, and then look at the color of the ocean. It's beautiful. Well, this is by far the coolest swimming spot I've ever been in. Like, look at the view surrounding us. Look at the water in the cave. And at this point, we are the only ones that will be in the water. We just get lucky sometimes, you know?
Periodically, a big enough wave would come and refresh the water we were swimming in, bringing cool new water and sometimes new fish. Ollie went to look for underwater creatures while I floated safely on the top of the water, enjoying the sun and avoiding the aliens that live below.
Wow.
What a crazy...
Yeah, I'm gonna put him home, okay?
We basically did everything that we could here. We've been here for hours just looking at all the little critters and...
Are we darker?
Yeah. Are we actually darker? It probably looks like it.
I feel darker.
Yeah, we're super crispy.
So fun.
We've run out of water. We're super sunburnt. So we're gonna go back to the hostel and just get a cool drink, and once the sun goes down a little bit more, we'll go check out some other stuff for the sunset. Great Wall of China is in China, and because of that, there's a good chance that I'll never see it. Because as a Canadian, I fear China. I'm just kidding. But if you don't want to do that, then you can just come here to the Little Great Wall, which may or may not be greater than the Great Wall. We'll walk down it and we'll let you know. We always do. Honestly, if you're afraid of the sun, maybe going on an island isn't your best vacation choice. There's so many people here and they're wearing like sweaters and visors and hats and sunglasses and masks and carrying umbrellas, and it's like insane. It's so hot here.
The shadows were getting longer, and it did a fine job of accentuating the aging and rippled skin of the earth around us. The clouds, as if to notice our admiration, became red in the cheeks. The air was warm and heavy, yet it felt cool in comparison to the midday climate. It was a confounding bit of scenery brought to life straight from a children's book. last tourist left long ago, leaving only us and their garbage behind. I pleaded with myself, if my videos give anyone anything to think about, if they inspire anybody in any way, shape, or form, let it be that it motivates them to become better tourists, the environmentally conscious, empathetic, and forward-thinking kind.
Like this.
That is an asshole move right there. Really? You look at all this nature and then you decide that's where you're gonna throw your f***ing garbage? Go on, get in there, Ollie.
Gross.
What a dick. Ew, how old is that?
Oh no, it just has jelly. Boom.
On a scale from 1 to extremely difficult, how hard was it to throw out that piece of trash? I forgot to set up and take a time lapse for you guys, but it would have sucked anyway, trust me. I'm just kidding, it would have been magnificent, but I just forgot. Now, it's time to go eat barbecue. Finally. I didn't come all the way to Green Island just to look at beautiful views and have an awesome adventure.
Ooh. Apparently they have deer.
Yeah, they have venison, because there's a lot of deer on this island, and they're wild, and we've seen them.
Yeah.
But they're hard to get on camera because they're pretty fleeting. Since we couldn't find them in the wild to show you, we're gonna go order them on a plate. They can't run away so fast when they're cooked.
It's kind of horrifying.
All right, so anyway, in the trunk you go.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We later discovered that during this drive, Ollie, pictured here, would lose the bandana around her neck. We would then go through the footage of the camera to narrow down where we lost this bandana and seek to find it. But more on that later on. For now, barbecue. The barbecue was hot, smoky, and unlimited. All inklings of a pretentious meal were thrown quickly out the window when they handed us a steel trough and told us to fill it up with anything we wanted. Once full, you barbecue it, you eat it, and repeat. Very simple. If you've been to Taiwan, you might be familiar with this sort of arrangement. It was noisy and lively. People were shouting at each other over top of the music that played an interesting mix of Broadway musicals and early 2000s pop. It's a business model that no investor in their right mind would back. If this restaurant was in Canada, they would have countless agencies and fanatics protesting outside every day, and I loved it.
That place was insane. Best barbecue, probably not the best barbecue I've ever had, but it was 260 NT, which is like, or 250? It was 250 NT, which is like $10 Canadian. Yeah, like not even $10 Canadian. All you can eat, like they had venison and beef and pork and veggies and like, it's just complete chaos, don't get me wrong. Like, just like the rest of all these islands, utter chaos. Like, people are screaming and spitting and yelling, and there's like operatic music in the background, and when the guy speaks, he says things, but it has like an insane reverb on it, and no one understands what he's saying. It's just crazy, and there's smoke everywhere. It's a beautiful experience. 250 NT, that's nothing. So good. Plus they had beer at a good price. So, Green Island, we might have a winner.
On the slow, digestive walk home, we saw a little pavilion near the water and decided to enjoy the stars while we could, knowing that soon enough we'll be back in Taipei where there's no chance of seeing them. As we sat there in the dark, we noticed what looked like someone with a flashlight walking in the ocean. This obviously piqued our curiosity. Closer examination was needed. It turns out that it's quite a popular activity to come here at night with a flashlight looking for creatures and goodies in the shallow water. Personally, it's not my idea of a late night adventure, but I respect the effort no less.
Rock goes quite far in, but right now.
Well, we did it. Green Island. Day 1. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Cheers.
We found a deer, we found some beaches, and we found the best spot on Green Island. But that, my friends, is a story for next time, as you know. See you in the next one, folks. Don't forget to subscribe.